The chair, feel free to start whenever.
All right, thank you, Madam Moderator. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with roll call. Dr. Garcia,
Present.
Dr. McIntyre, you might need to unmute your mic, Dr. McIntyre.
Here.
Perfect. Dr. Chawla, I believe Dr. Chawla is going to be arriving late, and Dr. Wong present. So we have quorum. Let's go ahead to item number 2 on the agenda. Public comment for items not on the agenda. Madam Moderator, if you could open up the chat to see if there's anyone who, let me start with Dr. Garcia, Dr. McIntyre, or Shara. Do we have any items for, never mind. We'll go to public comment first, sorry, public comment.
All right, this is the moderator, and I've gone ahead and opened up the question and answer panel. If any member of the public would like to make a comment, please type, "I would like to make a comment," using the field in the lower right-hand corner of your screen and submit it to all panelists. We are displaying instructions for your reference, and we'll give you a moment. All right, this is the moderator, and Madam Chair, I see no requests for public comment at this time. Shall I close the Q&A panel?
Yes, please.
Okay, I will do so. It's closed.
Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about items in item number 3, discussion and possible action on the minutes from the February 26, 2021 PEC meeting. Dr. McIntyre or Dr. Garcia, do you have any comments about the minutes from the February 26th meeting?
No comments or edits to the minutes.
No comments.
Okay. If I could get, do I need to take public comment?
The motion first, that will be fine. Motion and second, and then we can open up to public comment if there is public available.
If I could get a motion to pass the minutes from the February 26, 2021 meeting?
I'll move to accept the minutes as written.
And if I could get a second?
Second.
Perfect. And then if we could note that Dr. Chawla has joined us for the meeting. Welcome. Hello. So if we could open up for public comment for the minutes on February 26, 2021, Madam Moderator.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've opened up the question and answer panel. So if any member of the public would like to make a comment, please type, "I would like to make a comment," using the field in the lower right-hand corner of your screen and submit it to all panelists. We are displaying instructions. All right, this is a moderator. I see no request for public comment at this time. Shall I close the Q&A panel?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's been closed.
Okay, so let's go ahead and take a vote. Dr. Garcia.
I vote aye.
Dr. McIntyre.
Aye.
Dr. Chawla, we are looking to pass the minutes from the February 26, 2021 meeting. Did you have any comments about that? Sorry, I should have asked you first.
No, I don't. That's fine. Aye.
Aye, okay. And then Dr. Wong, aye. So motion passes. And let's go ahead. So items 4 and 5 that are on the agenda, I believe, Shara, correct me if I'm wrong, that there's no items to discuss for items 4 and 5 on the agenda. Okay, I think we may have just lost Shara. Oh, we can't hear you.
Sorry, I was having internet issues. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. So I have a note from Mark saying that there are no items for discussion under items 4 and 5 on the agenda, and I just wanted to confirm that.
That is correct.
Okay, let's go ahead and start looking at the courses in section 6. Does anyone have any comments about any of the courses 6A through 6P?
I will.
Okay,
Okay. 4 items. Let's start with item 6C.
Okay.
We just need to change the categorization from ocular disease to general optometry.
okay.
6P?
Same thing.
6C is in Charlie.
We'll see, okay.
And the same thing with 6I and 6K.
Yes.
Then there's only one other thing in category 6 under 6H. Where are the presentation materials and the summary? There was none.
Yeah, 6C, 6I, and 6K were they all had to do with refractive or cataract surgery, which doesn't fall under ocular disease. I agree. Dr. Chawla or Dr. Garcia, do you guys have any comments about any of the courses under section 6?
Yeah, I don't have anything additional. Those were the same ones that I noticed were not disease related.
I had the same question about where's the material. So
Okay. I'm sorry, Dr. McIntyre, did I cut you off? Are there any other courses that you had concerns about?
No, not in this category. So by changing those categories from ocular disease to general optometry, I would have no problem approving all of them except for 6H.
Okay. So let's see now, how do we want to do this? Should we pass all except for the ones that Dr. McIntyre mentioned first, and then pass item 6C, 6I, and 6K as long as the categories are changed? And the only one that we can't pass would be 6H, as in Harry. So would that work better for you guys, or should we just, yeah. Okay, so here, I'm going to make a motion. I think if we could have a motion to pass items 6A, 6B, 6D, E, F, G, 6J, 6L, 6M, 6N, 6O, and 6P.
so moved.
Second.
Seconded. Okay. You can take it, Dr. Garcia.
Shar, do we need public comment for this before we take our vote?
Yeah.
Madam Moderator, if you could open up the chat.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have opened up the Q&A panel. So if any member of the public would like to speak on this agenda item, please type. I would like to make a comment using the field in the lower right-hand corner of your screen and submit it to all panelists. We are displaying instructions. All right, this is the moderator. I see no request for public comment at this time. Shall I close the Q&A panel?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's closed.
All right, so I'm going to, let's go ahead and vote on this motion. Dr. Chawla,
Aye.
Dr. Garcia,
Aye, would I?
Dr. McIntyre,
Aye.
and Dr. Wong, aye. Motion passes. If we could have another motion to pass items 6C, 6I, and 6K, as long as we change the CE categorization from ocular disease to general. So we need to change 6C, 6I, and 6K from ocular disease to general, like to pass those courses also.
So moved.
Okay, Dr. McIntyre makes the motion. Could I get a second?
Second.
And Dr. Garcia seconds. Madam Moderator, if you could open up the discussion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All right, if any member of the public would like to make a comment, we are displaying instructions. Please just type in the field that you want to make a comment and submit it to all panelists. All right, this is the moderator. I see no request for public comment. Shall I close the Q&A panel?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's closed.
All right, let's go ahead and take our vote. Just going through how you guys appear on my screen. Dr. Chawla,
Aye.
Dr. Garcia,
And vote aye.
Dr. McIntyre,
Aye.
and Dr. Wong. Aye, motion passes. So if we could have staff look into where the materials are for item 6H, that would be great. And let's go ahead and move on to item number 7.
Can I ask a question on item 6? So I'm still figuring out some of the housekeeping item, but I have a question. When I was looking through them, I noticed, especially this time, that all of the courses we're approving have already happened. Is that pretty much correct?
That's
So-
almost always the case.
Yeah. And has it always been that way?
Yep.
Is there any way to not have it that way, to approve courses in the future rather than in the past?
So as someone who actually administers CE, I'll tell you that
Yes.
it's almost impossible to do it because the problem is the presenters in particular are they hold back their presentations, they're tweaking them to the last minute, they don't want to release this, that, or whatever. So from a logistical standpoint, as someone who's collecting the data, it's very difficult to do it. And that I know is common throughout. That's why almost always it's like this, because they give it to you the night before. Well, the board asks for it so many days in advance, and they just can't get the applications together. So when we're putting in our stuff, the last thing that we wind up handing to people are turn into the board is actually the presenter applications. We go out of our way to ask for COPE for all different kinds of things because we think that, okay, your presentation's already done, right? Because a lot of the COPE presentations are done and then just renewed every year. It still doesn't work, so I feel like a lot of the presenters that's just how they do it. I don't
Right. Yeah, I understand. And maybe have we created some bad habits with presenters, or is it really truly impossible to get ahead of it?
I don't think it's us that's created the habits. I think that's just what they do, so it's not that we've created the habits. They just naturally do it that way. It's we had this conversation like several years ago because it's very disadvantageous for the attendees.
Correct.
The optometrists go in, they don't know that it's approved.
Yes.
What there's a problem. Oh, my license expired. I was counting on this. There's all these different things happen. And it's just, it's been I don't know, at least almost like a decade-long conversation. But I don't know that we created the habit. It's just that that's what the presenters happen to do. Most of I can't speak for every person who does this, but a lot of the large groups that are giving you things, like the Maloney people, all of that, which I find interesting because at one point the Maloney people were all internal. I'm like, don't you have your stuff already? But now, when you reach out to large groups of people, when you reach out to national speakers, they just don't get it done fast enough. So I don't know if you have some idea to make, but that's a very large undertaking. And then, on the flip side, if you say that, oh, we can't approve those courses, then you're also disadvantaged. You're making it even worse for the people who are going on good faith. That's part of the reason we wanted to have a discussion at some point about, the whole system.
Yeah, it just struck me as kind of odd that we were approving courses after the fact, and for the same reasons you just mentioned, that there's maybe some courses that we never approve or we can't approve, and optometrists are taking these courses under the assumption that they were approved. Does there need to be some disclaimer to participants that
that's also something we've done, is that if you look the same way that if you go for a national event or a California, COA event or something like that, they always write pending COPE approval. So these people have to write pending state board approval. They can't say that it's been approved. So the optometrist knows that whatever they're doing, it's kind of at a risk. It's not great for the OD. So
I've never I've seen some of the COPE ones do that, but I've never seen that in a local society meeting or.
They should be. I mean, I can't speak to it, right? So if they haven't gotten approval, which you're noticing most of these almost always are passed, they should be. We had that too, to kind of, because there was a concern about that as well. That was about 4 years ago. We talked about that.
I mean, we are trying to meet more often. So for a while, we were meeting like every other month, trying to get through the applications as quickly.
So is it the frequency of our meeting that limits this, or is it something other than that?
That was part of it, you know. So we like, how many years ago, Lillian? Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we started to meet like every month, and then somehow it got back to quarterly again. So we started to meet every month several years ago to try to do what we could from our end, at least, right? To not be delaying stuff, because it is pretty frustrating that people submit things in December and they don't get an approval till March, right?
So when you were meeting monthly, were you then approving presentations that were in the future, or were you still approving
It was a mix.
after the fact?
More of a mix. It was definitely more of a mix than this, but you know, the delivery of the thing you can't change, you know,
Right.
unfortunately.
I mean, so, and then some of the are for the future, they were incomplete. So then once we get back to them and then they have to submit all the additional material, then sometimes they end up being, then the event has already happened. But we definitely were reviewing more material that was future events.
I mean, part of the problem is that we don't really encourage people to submit. One of the reasons for the incomplete thing on there is to encourage, like that was my own thing, because again, as a presenter, I told them, start your application, send in stuff. So if there's something to be, you know, like by the time, but still it doesn't happen. There's also, if you want, this is going to turn into a very long conversation. So if you want, I can tell you some stuff offline. That's
okay.
You know, if you'd like to do that, I'm happy to reach out to you.
Yeah, I'd like to learn more about the process. And then the other question I had is on, we have a completed file. I wasn't quite sure the purpose of the completed file in our meeting packet. It's packet 7. What's the purpose of that?
What do you
I'll
mean?
speak up if that's fine, Madam Chair. It's Shara, Executive Officer. So what we have is sort of a couple of different subcategories so that it's easy for the committee to understand where applications are in the process. You'll notice that our agenda item 8 is incomplete applications. So if staff has received an application that appears to be missing one of the 3 meeting outline or materials or a summary and has requested that from the presenters, but not received that before agendizing the meeting, then we will place that in 8 in incomplete applications so that the board or the committee is aware we have received these applications, but we are missing a particular portion of this. And as you go through the materials, you'll see that. So we found that in order to run this meeting really efficiently, both Dr. Chawla and Dr. Wong, that you can go through each agenda item, you've got complete things, and then if there's a determination that it makes sense to take a look as a group at any of the incomplete applications and say, you know what, we see enough information here to understand what will be presented. We trust that these speakers have the ability to present this information from a depth of knowledge, then let's go ahead and approve this, because we of course see that staff wasn't able to check all the boxes, but here we are as professionals within the industry. We understand what this will be, and we want to make sure that this is approved and that the material can go ahead with a board approval number.
Okay.
I'll give you a quick example, Dr. Garcia. So a few meetings ago, I don't know if you had joined yet, I don't think quite yet, there was a submission, and the course was from Ron Melton and Randall Thomas. I think it was missing one of their 2 CVs. And that's the only reason that it was on hold. You can look up the CV online. So something like that. Where perhaps the board staff might not know, but every optometrist sitting here knows. And it's that something like that. So rather than waiting another 3 months to approve it, you kind of, and it was for housekeeping to clean it up. Shara's absolutely right. So we could just not worry about what's complete or not complete, et cetera.
Just different buckets. And then also I noticed that we have files that are individual, and then we have combined files with the same information. What's the purpose of that?
I think sometimes it's just easier if you can just go to the individual files. Because it's like if you looked at our section 6, you had to scroll through everything in order to get to the last file.
Correct.
So sometimes it's easier if you can just go and click on the individual files.
And I guess that was my question. Why do we have combined files when it's so much easier to do individual? It's just a duplication.
It was actually a request by the committee. So we can look at doing individual files, but we were at a time where you might have 60 courses that you're approving in one go. And so 60 separate files was not the most conducive to your review. But we, of course, can revisit that and how the materials are presented to you.
Yeah, and I'm okay with either one. I was just wondering why there was both, because it seemed like a duplication of effort. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, then, on that note, let's go ahead on to item number 7. Doctors McIntyre, Garcia, and Chawla, do you have any comments about items 7A, 7B, or 7C?
I do not.
I think I was okay with these.
Dr. McIntyre, are you?
Is she there?
I don't see.
Sorry, I had to mute myself for a while. You didn't want to hear me driving, okay? So on 7A, I believe it needed to be categorized, so I applied an ocular disease category to it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't have to type for that.
Right. Item 7B should be ocular disease, not general optometry. And I think items 7C1 and C2, they needed to be categorized as general optometry. I didn't see any other classification there. And then finally, all the items that are listed for 3 hours of credit, I think we're coming back to the same question we've had previously. Does this really amount to 3 hours of continuing education because they're just observing surgery? Is there really 3 hours of information dissemination? I cannot wrap my brain around it. I would approve 2 for each of those items, but I don't like 3 hours. I don't know what the other doctors want to say about that.
Is it 3 for each of those?
Yeah. So there's a couple of things. So Dr. McIntyre said C1 and C2 for general under the category. I agree with that. But also, they requested 3 hours, but it's only 2 hours of CE because it's between 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And it's noted in. So they can't have 3 if it's only 2 hours of course time. So I had an issue with the number of hours being applied for in 1 and 2, C1 and C2, and then C3 and C4. Again, I agree. It sounds like there's a significant portion that might be just observation for surgery. So if they're going to request 3 hours, we need to find out how much of the hours is spent in surgery observation and how much of it is actually teaching and education. Because if 1.5 hours is observation, they can't have the CE for the 1.5. They cannot have CE credit for observation only. So I think we need to go back, and if staff could ask how much time is spent in observations for C3 and C4. And then I think there are notes in the files for C1 and C2 that they've repeatedly been told that they can only have 2 hours, but they keep on reapplying for 3 hours. So I think items C1, 2, 3, and 4 need to get reevaluated again.
So am I understanding then that?
Sorry, Shaw.
It's quite all right, no problem.
But on item C1 and 7C1 and 7C2, can't we just like approve them for 2 hours,
Yeah.
since that was the time shown on their agenda,
All right.
and just say, okay, you're not going to get the 3 hours, you're approved for 2, and be
So-
done with it.
Yeah, so we can approve 7C1 and C2 as general optometry for 2 hours each. But then 7C3 and 734 need more information about how long the surgery observation is for.
Yes.
Yep.
From the descriptions that you have for 7C3 and 7C4, is there any time within those courses that could be approved for CE credit? I understand we don't know how much observation time will be spent, but in the materials given, do you see enough material outside of the observation time to allot 1 hour of credit?
So I guess my concern is that the majority of their slides for 7C3 and 7C4 seem to be focused on the surgery with little, it sounds like it might be live surgery with them commenting during the surgery. And at the very end, they definitely do include slides on other topics that may be discussed. But to me, it seems like the 3 hours, just based on their PowerPoints, is surgery. And then these are comments we're going to make or issues that they're going to discuss during the surgery. So to me, it seems like the majority, if not all of it, is surgery observation with comments on the side. So I don't think I'm not comfortable assigning any CE credit hours for 3 and 4 because of that.
Correct.
Okay.
But I'm okay doing 7C1 and C2 as 2 hours.
Excellent. And we can certainly set aside 7C3 and 4 for additional input, and we'll see those as resubmitted applications on the next agenda. And go ahead and take motions to accept 7A, 7B, and 7C1 and 2.
Okay. So could I get that motion to accept 7A, 7B, 7C1, and 7C2?
Actually, can you specify in the motion about the
Okay.
either do it separately or say that 7C1 and C2 are for 2 hours only?
So here, let me go back. Can I have a motion to pass item 7A and 7B for the, but with changing their categorization to ocular disease for both 7A and 7B?
Yeah, so
I'll
moved.
move so.
I have a motion from
got
Dr.
it.
Chawla
And I'll second it then,
and
McIntyre.
second from McIntyre. Madam Moderator, if we could open up the chat for comment, please, public comment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have opened up the Q&A panel. If any member of the public would like to make a comment, please type "I would like to make a comment" using the field in the lower right-hand corner of your screen and submit it to all panelists. We are displaying instructions. All right, this is the moderator. I see no request for public comment. Shall I close the Q&A panel?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's closed.
All right, if we can go ahead and take a vote on our motion. Dr. Chawla?
Aye.
Dr. Garcia?
Aye.
Dr. McIntyre?
Aye.
And Dr. Wong, aye. Motion passes. Can I get a motion to pass items 7C1 and 7C2, but changing the requested CE credit hours from 3 hours to 2 hours for both 7C1 and 7C2?
So move, McIntyre.
Could I get a second?
Second.
And Dr. Garcia seconds. Madam Moderator, if you could open up the chat for public comment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All right, the Q&A panel is now available. If anyone would like to make a comment, please type "I would like to make a comment" using the field in the lower right-hand corner of your screen and submit it to all panelists. We are displaying instructions for your reference. All right, this is a moderator. I see no request for public comment. Shall I close the Q&A panel?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's closed.
And if we could go ahead and have a vote, Dr. McIntyre?
Aye.
Dr. Garcia,
Aye.
Dr. Chawla,
Aye.
and Dr. Wong. Aye, motion passes. All right, let's go ahead and go on. So item number 8 is our incomplete applications. I looked at this application. Someone tell me if I'm wrong. It looks like the only thing that's missing is that there's been no confirmation that the payment has been received. And I think they're waiting to get confirmation.
And we could certainly, Madam Chair, we could certainly entertain a motion that the course would be approved upon remit of payment.
I think that would be great. If I could get a motion to pass item 8. I guess, did you guys get a chance to look at item 8A?
Yes.
And did anyone have any issues with item 8A?
No.
So if I could get a motion to pass item 8A, once we have confirmation that payment has been received.
So moved.
Second.
All right, moved by Dr. McIntyre, second by Dr. Garcia. Madam Moderator, if you could open up the chat again for public comment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All right, the Q&A panel is now available. If anyone would like to make a comment, please type "I would like to make a comment" using the field in the lower right-hand corner of your screen and submit it to all panelists. We are displaying instructions. This is the moderator. I see no requests for public comment. Shall I close the Q&A panel?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's closed.
Let's go ahead and take a vote. Dr. Garcia,
Vote aye.
Dr. Chawla,
Aye.
Dr. McIntyre,
Aye.
and Dr. Wong. Aye, motion passes. We are now on item number 9, future agenda items. Does anyone have any suggestions for future agenda items that we need to discuss? Do we need to open this up for public comment?
Madam Chair, because you opened up for items not on the agenda at the beginning of the meeting, it is not necessary to open up for public comment now. We have been able to locate the materials for 6H. I apologize. That was due to a clerical error. Staff is uploading those to the box immediately. Is there a desire to take a moment and review those materials as a group so that we might be able to process that approval during this meeting rather than the next?
Is everyone on the committee okay with that?
Yes.
All right.
Do it right now.
Wait, so is it under the whole category 6 or is it its own?
It will be its own for ease of finding.
Okay, let me go back.
It may take a moment. We're contacting Mark to get it uploaded.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't see it yet. So while we're waiting for Mark to upload, would we want to put maybe on future agenda items? Because currently we're meeting about every 2 months right now? Would we want to talk about meeting more often?
We are currently meeting once a month. Beginning with the summer, we have been looking at about 30 days. Our next meeting, of course, is set for, pardon me. So our next committee meeting is set for July, but what we've been doing is coming to the committee when we have approximately 30 applications and finding a date at which we can more quickly review those.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Shara.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know how long it'll be until we have an upload?
Staff is working on that now. Let me see if we can get an update. They are moving as quickly as possible. I apologize for the delay.
Oh, not a problem, but I'd need to take a 5-minute break.
You can have a 5-minute break, Deborah.
Okay, I'll be back. Give me 5 minutes.
This is the moderator, and we are recording.
So we are now looking at item 6H as in Howard, now that we've had the materials. And I'm assuming this is 2 hours of general CE. We don't have a categorization for this one.
Right.
Do we? It might be.
It's general.
Is it general? Okay. So
Yeah.
can I get a motion to
There's some
pass?
Oh, sorry.
I don't know, because I think the categorization page was actually in the packet. I can't get to it. So can I get a motion to pass item 6H as 2 hours of general optometry CE?
I'll move.
3, 2, 1.
Second.
And Dr. Garcia seconds. Madam Moderator, if you could open up the chat for public comment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All right. The question and answer panel is now available. If anyone would like to make a comment, please type "I would like to make a comment" using the field in the lower right-hand corner of your screen and submit it to all panelists. We are displaying instructions for your reference. This is the moderator. I see no request for public comment. Shall I close the Q&A panel?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's closed.
And let's go ahead with our vote. Dr. Garcia,
Vote aye.
Dr. Chawla,
Aye.
Dr. McIntyre,
Aye.
Dr. Wong votes aye. Motion passes.
What is the public vote?
Oh, right. She always comes and sits right next to me, but she's sitting on one of our bar stools. So she's part of the people family. All right. So I believe we have covered every single agenda item on today's agenda. So I believe we're going on to now item number 10, which is adjournment. Thank you, everybody.
Indeed.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Madam Chair. Thank you, members, for your
problem.
patience with us. We appreciate your willingness to look at those on the fly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right. See you guys
Thanks.
next time.